What is your weirdest experience while going to the gym? Red hoodie guy would come into the gym always wearing the same red hoodie. He would hit the treadmill at 10 miles per hour and just geo. He could keep this pace for 30 minutes, but never seemed to get exhausted. Here's where it gets weird. He must have had headphones on under the hoodie because he would air guitar and headbang the entire time. Imagine a guy running at full tilt while shredding on an air guitar, non-stop, for half an hour, not breathing heavily or grunting, before abruptly stopping and walking out of the gym. Saw a guy on a stair climber wearing sunglasses and a leather jacket. I accidentally put my number code into another lock that was beside mine. Botched the last number and the lock actually opened. I got literally flexed on. I saw a girl who I mistook as somebody I knew. Went to say hi. She was cool about it. Said it's happened before. Then a guy came over and said something going on here. And literally just flexed. I've never had a bad experience at the gym before, but this dude was above and beyond. Always see them together now. Dude must have some redeeming qualities about him. I hate to run, but run about a mile a day at a 10 minimum/mile pace before I go and do weights. Like, I hate it so much I wish for a heart attack to take me away at about minute 4. Any case, the treadmills at our gyms have big timers on them that are easy to read. I get on the treadmill one day and see that the guy beside me is running a 5k a preset on the machine and has been on for about 4 minutes. But he's going fast, like full out sprint. I punch in my 12 minutes 10-minute mile 2-minute cooldown and start to run. We finish at the same time. Dude ran a 5k in about 16 minutes. Full on sprint the whole time. I was just kinda in a daze thinking about it for the rest of my workout. I remember a guy would spit and lick his hands before lifting weights or using machines and wouldn't clean it afterwards. Then even weirder, he would straight up moan like he was pss while lifting the heavier weights. It was weird and gross. A guy at a very nice luxury gym was not just dropping his squats, he was actively throwing them up and letting them drop 4+ feet to the safety rack, causing a ridiculously loud sound and a crash. When I asked him to stop, he was extremely aggressive and rude and said he had been a member for 10 years. Management ended up kicking him out about 10 minutes later. Not sure about going to the gym, but while at the gym just a couple of weeks ago, this guy calls across the gym to another guy and says, "I can smell you from here. Do you play lacrosse?" To which he replied, "I played when I was younger." First guy says, "That's what I thought. You smell like dry cum." There were probably 12 people in the gym. So random. I was on the treadmill waiting for the only squat rack to open up. A guy was holding it up talking to some other guy, and they talked for like 15 minutes. I was about to ask if I could work, then they started praying. Other guy put his head down, and squat guy put his hands on other guy's shoulders and started praying and doing that loud huffing between sentences Southern Baptist preachers do. And then another guy walked up to get in on the action. At the loaded squat rack, I just went and worked my legs on the machines. Old man jerking off in the shower. I don't use open locker rooms anymore. Back in the early 1980s and late 1970s, I used to work out at Gold's Gym in a western Canadian city. The gym was also the favorite workout spot for professional wrestlers when they were doing a gig in town. The weirdest thing was seeing how dramatically different some of these guys were in real life compared to their wrestling personas. One guy whose persona was of a British dock worker type would show up at the gym in a 3-piece suit. Edit. No, he didn't work out in a suit and speaking the poshest of British accents, and was constantly giving other wrestlers investment and tax advice. Apparently he was an accountant as well. What was surprising was that some of them weren't faking it, but in real life they were as rude, selfish and ignorant as their characters. I also remember how sad was seeing how some of the older wrestlers were really suffering from dementia, probably cumulative effects of concussions, and were literally guided through everything by other wrestlers. Even simple things like getting dressed. I was impressed by the care some of these guys gave to their older colleagues who needed constant attention. However, the most interesting experience was Jess Ventura. Of course, when the wrestlers showed up, they were generally followed around by a horde of fans, usually teenage boys. Some were hostile to their fans, telling them to FCK off. Others gave a quick acknowledgement and then moved on. However, Jess would spend an incredible amount of time with his fans, especially the younger ones, listening and talking to all of them with total attention. I remember seeing him trying to do leg presses while taking questions from a crowd of boys about what it means to be a man. Even back then, When he was just the heel, just the body. Out of the ring he showed that he understood the impact that he could have as a role model to young men and took it seriously. When he became governor of Minnesota, I was definitely not surprised. There's this guy me and my old lifting partner used to call Asian guy. He's this guy that's like about 6'1" if I had to guess. Super lean. Widest lats and biggest traps I've ever seen. Anyway, I always used to look forward to watching him lift, and for a while would make sure I was scheduling when I got to the gym for when Asian guy got there, because for months at least 6 times a week he would exclusively train legs. And by exclusively train legs I mean he would be at the squat rack for no less than 3 hours. I'd always just kinda hang around to see if he would do anything else a little after my own workout, and for that period of time he never did. Until one day I was doing a push workout and was doing lateral raises. I was using 15s or something really light for a warm up, and between squat sets he came over to the dumbbells and repped out like 3 reps of 50 pounds lateral raises. So I looked at him weird, and he saw me and ran over to rep out another 5 reps of 365 pound squats. I was so stoked I saw him doing something other than squatting that I told my friend I saw Asian guy doing lat raises trying to one up me, and he responded by saying he did the exact same thing to him with the exact same exercise. Anyway, after a few months he started doing an actual normal rotation of push-pull legs, which was far less entertaining, and somewhere along the way he started using locker number 69, which is the one I usually use. So I've started trying to go before he gets there. I miss Asian guy. Ran the treadmill next to a middle-aged man in a full Santa Claus outfit. Beard and all. It was February 21st. The woman who was hanging out in the locker room in her underwear. She was there when I came in, and still there an hour later. Someone told me she was probably an IG model doing a selfie photoshoot. I was leaving the other day for the showers and a girl, maybe 21, never spoken to her before, comes off the treadmill to speak to me, and the following conversation ensued. Are you going back to your car? Me. Yes. Are you parked at the one you have to pay for? Me. You have to pay for all of them. Is it the one outside? Not multi-stories. Me. There's 4 that are outside. Is it far? Me. Explain the location to try and progress the conversation to a conclusion. Okay then. Don't worry. Me. Bye. No context. No nothing. To this day I can't figure out what her angle was, but it was very weird. Edit. Seems she was either flirting, getting stalked, or trying to find the driver she hit. I'll take those odds. There's a regular at my gym who always gets stares. She's pretty much built like a stick and she's an older woman in her mid-50s. I've seen her a couple of times doing this workout. She literally spends no more than 30 to 45 secs on each machine and does them with the worst form I've ever seen in my life as fast as she possibly can. For example, on the cable pull down, she'll pull the handle to her neck level, let it raise to about nose level and pull it down again. She'll do this move of about 3 to 4 of motion, just as fast as she possibly can for about 30 to 45 secs. Then she'll move as fast as she can to the leg press, which she'll fully extend her legs, and with her legs nearly extended she'll just bounce the weight over and over. At no point does she return anywhere close to the start position until she's done after another 30 to 45 secs. Then she'll go to the treadmill or the rowing machine or something and do that with the worst possible form. After about 5 minutes, she's done and she'll quit and leave. A woman who measures 2 meters lifts a dwarf as if he were a weight. I was running on the treadmill and there was this scruffy guy all hunched down like 3 treadmills away, and he kept loudly muttering to himself, "You can do it. You got this," and making weird noises. He kept doing it for like 20 minutes. At first I was like annoyed, cause he was rather loud, and it was weird, but after about 10 minutes I distractedly started thinking to myself, I can do this. I got this. He was unintentionally inspiring to me. I swear my gym is actually a gateway into the fee. One time I saw a fit man with impeccable, flowing locks stare himself down in the mirror. He just kept saying yes and growling a bunch. Then he went over to the stretching area and did what could only be described as jazzercise while listening to aggressive hip hop on his headphones so loud I could hear it from the squat rack. Periodically, he'd holler out grunts and hype sounds and curse words with the music. I'm pretty sure he was links in a human body. One time I'm on the bench and I hear 2 dudes. "You look amazing, bro. You're the best looking dude in this gym." "Nah, you are, bro." I turn around after a set and they're identical twins. There's this old guy who wears a toupee to the gym. It's hideous. Like he decided when he bought his wig I'll be ginger now. But he's like a swarthy Mediterranean white dude. When he works out, the toupee wax that affixes it to his bald skull melts and runs down the sides of his head. He never seems to mind. I saw a guy in the corner with a 1,000 yard stare just frozen in the locker room. I used to work with homeless and rehabilitation, and there's a certain look I've gotten used to that's hard to explain. It's the I'm an addict, and I'm about to ups up my life and all the progress I've made so that I can score look. This kid had that same look. So I went over and talked to him, wearing a swimsuit, goggles, and my flip-flops. There's a certain pushiness that come with around a stranger who thinks you're about to ups up your life. So let's talk about it, even though you don't want to talk about it kind of conversation. Turns out I was right. The guy had been clean for 2 months and life was falling apart, and he just wanted a good score of heroin. So I talked him down. I talked about how he had a bunch of white chips. You get a white chip for 24 hours of sobriety, but hardly, and red's 1 month or gold's 2 months. I told him that he's closer than he's ever been to getting a green 3 month, and that I'd be thrilled to see him get that. I have a pretty clean keychain that goes through all the colors once, different program with different colors, but same idea, which makes a pretty good conversation piece for folks waffling on recovering. I even had him hand over his stash so he wouldn't use it once he got home. Edit. Thanks kind strangers for the awards and such. A lot of y'all were wondering if the guy is okay or what happened to the stash. As far as I know, the guy is okay. I never heard from him again after that day, but that tends to happen with addicts. They cut folks out of their lives when they want to move on to a better place or when they go to a darker place. I'm betting guy in the gym isn't someone he cared to keep around, as I'd just be a reminder of a rock bottom low. As for the stash, it went into a locked dumpster at a restaurant. You can lift up the lid just enough to throw in a baggie. NSFW. Moving to a new place, no friend/nightlife. So went to the gym twice a day. One night I was closing the place down with a swim and was almost the last person in the building. Nobody in the locker room, but I could hear a shower on. Walked into the shower and assumed that some shat had just left it on. As I got closer though, I saw a shadow. I just went into the shower stall. I was adjacent to a men's shower, so no doors. There was a man there leaning hard against the wall with a hard on out front and one hand reaching down behind his back. When I turned on my shower he froze, turned facing me in shock, and I watched a 10-inch dildo flop out of his butt and hang between his legs. He then proceeded to drop it and awkwardly try to kick it to the side so I wouldn't see it when he picked it up. I can't unsee it. There is a 20-something very fit guy at my gym who works out extremely hard. Lots of weighted pull-ups, stuff on one leg, jumping rope, etc. I surmised that he was either into martial arts or obstacle course stuff. One day I'm on the treadmill looking out into the parking lot. I suddenly notice a small tree shaking violently. It's the guy, blindfolded, doing pull-ups on a tree limb. But the tree was really way too small, so his feet were hitting the ground. It was a miracle he didn't bring the limb down. He took off the blindfold, looked very embarrassed, and casually walked back into the gym. Why was he blindfolded? So no one could see him. I go to the gym at lunch and my office is somewhat close to a good-sized university, so some of the college students also gym there, since it's cheap and close. One day I was at the gym with a work buddy. We were alternating sets on the butterfly machine, which was right in front of a row of treadmills. There were a few folks on the treadmill. An older guy, I'd say in his mid-50s, and 2 college-aged women 2 treadmills away from the older guy. They're wearing t-shirts and shorts of the local college. The women are running pretty hard, doing some interval work. After a few sets, the woman closest to the old guy lifts her shirt to wipe her forehead sweat off. She's not wearing anything underneath said shirt. The older guy looks over and notices this and promptly stumbles on the treadmill and shoots backward onto the floor about 5 feet. I'm in the middle of my rep when this all happens, and I can't stop laughing. My gym buddy turns around at all the noise of the guy falling over. The 2 women immediately run to the bathroom giggling. I still wonder if this was all some kind of prank or just an accident. Never saw those 2 at the gym again. Who the ps runs without a bra? Straight up pain. I wondered the same thing. And it's not like she was just kind of jogging. They were pretty much running full out. She was not like well endowed, but still was definitely weird. Yeah, I have travel size boobs, and there is no way I would run without some kind of bra support. Travel size boobs. This is awesome. Not really weird, but this huge guy was weightlifting at the gym I frequent and he farted. And it was the longest fart I've ever heard. Like at least 30 seconds long. He couldn't stop giggling like a little girl. And then everyone else started laughing and clapping like he just performed a theater piece. It was surreal. I was on the treadmill once. Had to fart. Let a little bit go to see if they were gonna be noisy. I didn't hear anything so proceeded to fart my way through the rest of my cardio. Eventually it dawned on me I had headphones in. The weight witch. Lady walks in on a Saturday morning. I've never seen her there before. She was significantly overweight, but had on gloves and knee braces. So I figure she's a powerlifter on a bulk. I'm warming up doing some cable internal rotations and have my headphones on. So I don't see that she sets up at the cable machine behind me. I finish my set and turn around, and I see her getting ready. She's got a straight bar attached to the cable machine with the arm down near the ground and the bar on the floor. She half crouched / squatted in front of this thing, and I'm thinking she's about to do some kind of squat, when she starts waving her hands. As in, the kind of hand waving a wizard does when he's imitating someone imitating Bob Fosse-esque jazz hands. I couldn't stop watching. She did this for at least 30 seconds before she grabs the bar to start her exercise. And when I say grab the bar, I mean pick it up with both hands, extend it until it gets resistance from the weight, and then start standing up and half squatting / crouching. She wasn't engaging any weight. She was just using the bar as something to hold in her hands as she stood up and crouched down slightly. She did this for 3 sets and then moved to some cardio machines. I saw her a few times after that, each time doing something equally nonsensical, and always with the incantation hand motions. I miss her and hope she found a nice coven. I can only imagine what was going through her head that morning. Feeling good. Haven't been to the gym in years, possibly decades, but today is the day. I'll start my routine with my usual non-weighted bar for balanced squats, and then I'll do an introductory 1 minute on each cardio machine at the gym. It'll be great. And then there is this weird schmuck just staring at her for minutes on end. And she knew that her next warm-up curse is directed to